Hi everyone, you're watching the Tech Talk series by the Girl Code. Our guest today is an aspiring web developer, a travel streamer, and a PUBG enthusiast, Mina.
Hello,
Mina
hi everyone.
Mina started off her tech journey quite recently, but has already established her presence online and taken Twitter by storm with her brilliant animations and designs. It's so great to have you on the talk.
You've done several hats personally and professionally, but you've often said that being a mom is your favorite role. What's it like being a mom who codes? How does that tie in with your work, and how do you balance your eagerness to learn with your parenting responsibilities?
Okay, so first of all, being a mom and trying to learn how to code is actually very difficult, to be honest, because you have to learn how to juggle different part of, different part of life, because I do work as well. And I do have a little boy who's in preschool at the moment. And I'm also trying to learn code at the same time. So I definitely don't have that much on hand. So I have to actually prioritize my tasks throughout the day. So basically, I try to do some coding whenever I can. Usually when the kids go to, sleep, or when they take a nap, I probably try to code, like, say, for 20 minutes or something like that. And I guess to be a parent and also learning at the same time, you just have to learn to use your time more efficiently. You just have to squeeze, your free time in your lifestyle and try to balance it out, really. I hope that answers your question.
Right, it does. Sure. Speaking of your several hats, your Trovo live streams are really fun and gaining a lot of traction. Your PUBG streams are really entertaining, but what we especially love are your coding talk streams. What motivated you to start live streaming?
Okay, so basically I thought about doing live stream since a while ago. Like I've always had an interest with live streaming, but I guess I just wasn't, confident enough to push myself out there. But ever since I started learning how to code, I've seen a lot of people, push themselves out there to teach others, to inspire others, and like creating tutorials, or like interacting with each other, and peer learning as well through live streaming. So I thought it was quite a nice idea, and one day, one of my friends just introduced me to this platform called Trovo. So it's actually a startup company that's relatively new. So I thought I might as well give it a try. Like, it's a new platform and the community seems pretty great. And so, yeah, like I do want to inspire others through my coding talks. I'm still really new in this area as well, so I'm learning how to structure my live streams a bit better as well. But hopefully I can inspire some people out there to have an interest in coding and maybe start their own journey as well. At the same time, obviously, because I'm an introvert myself, so I do want to, improve my communication skills as well. So one day, I hope I'll be able to, teach and inspire others face to face as well.
One of the things which makes you unique among our guests is the fact that you're an aspiring web developer, so you're still in your learning stage. We think this makes you very relatable to the girls we work with, and it'll be really interesting for them to learn about your trajectory. What got you interested in tech at this stage of life?
To be honest, I've always been into technology ever since a really young age. I did do a little bit of coding back in high school as well. It's called Visual Basic. But I guess I didn't really pursue it further into college or etc. like that, into workforce. But ever since, COVID happened this year, I thought, it's probably a good time to go back to those interests and just give coding a try again, because I remember back then we didn't have too much support in this area, but nowadays, you know, there are like learning resources everywhere online, also in person, like meetups and, you know, workshops, etc. like that. So yeah, it's really great. Like I just thought it was a good time to start. I had a little bit of free time on hand, so I was like, why not? You know, I've always wanted to do web development, so I thought, yeah, this is probably the time to start on it again.
Terms like frontend and backend can be really confusing. How would you explain these terms and differences between them to a non-developer?
Actually, when I first started coding, I've heard about, you know, different part of web development now. Nowadays, there's the front end, the back end, and also the full stack development. I would say the front end is more like, you know, working with the client side. Basically, I believe their job is to, you know, take the designs from, say, web designers or graphic designers and try to develop them into the actual website, by considering about how the client might interact with the website as well. And I guess the backend is more like working on the server side. So to do with, you know, database, data analytics and stuff like that. So whereas the full stack is obviously a combination of both. So yeah, I guess nowadays it's a little bit more complicated with, you know, the difference of web developers. But yeah, like I think personally, I'm more interested in the front end developer role, because I see it as a more, say, creative approach of web development. So it's like a combination of creativity and problem solving.
We've been following your hashtag 100 Days of Code on Twitter, and we really love your series. You've mainly been working with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. What are the different roles that these languages serve in a project?
Okay, so basically HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the three main pillars in web development. So I would say if you explain each of those, HTML is probably like the structure of the website, and CSS is more like, you know, styling the website, make it pretty and all that. And JavaScript is adding the interactivity with the user. So together, you know, you make a beautiful website out there. And yeah, so you definitely need to learn all three. At the moment, I'm learning CSS and JavaScript at the same time. So yeah, it's been fun and challenging so far.
With the rise of tools like Squarespace and WordPress that enables people with minimal coding experience to design websites, where does that leave web developers?
Yeah, I've actually heard about that one before. Like, people are quite concerned about, you know, nowadays people probably can make a website without even learning how to code at all. I know there are people out there who go through that way to create their own website and etc. But however, I still believe web development is going to last very long time. It won't be, you know, kicked out or anything just because all those platforms has emerged. I guess because web development still allows people to customize the website to make it more suitable for client needs. So that's something those platforms probably unable to do in details. So I would say, yeah, like even though it does simplify a lot of things, like for certain group of people, but I still believe web development is in trend in the future as well.
Right. Oh, completely get the point, because, you know, those websites are like one size fits all kind of thing. So yeah, so web development has really become a coveted role recently. What would be your advice to our viewers out there who may be interested in breaking into the space? What learning path would you recommend them to follow to develop the essential coding skills that they would need?
I say don't be intimidated by the, you know, the idea of learning how to code, because initially I had the doubt as well. Like, I thought learning coding is always for someone that's, extremely good at math or science or things like that, having a PhD or like some kind of college degree in computer science. But actually nowadays, that's not the case. I've seen a lot of successful self-taught developers as well. So basically, because nowadays we do get a lot of support and also resources online and also in person. So definitely it's possible to learn to become a developer by yourself, learning by yourself. So I say it's probably better to, define your goal, like why you want to learn how to code at the start. You can go from there. So you can have a look at the learning paths online. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube, etc. Say, for example, if you want to become a front-end developer, you always start with HTML and CSS and then move on to either like the frameworks or the, JavaScript frameworks and libraries such as React, Angular, etc., etc. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of resources and help out there. So don't be intimidated and just start on it if you have an interest with it now.
With so many languages, frameworks, and APIs involved in front-end web development, it can be really scary to take the first step and start off. This can be especially intimidating when everyone in the field seems to know so much compared to you. How did you push past that fear and motivate yourself to self-learn programming?
I guess initially I just keep telling myself, not to compare with others at first, and also with the self-doubt. I know everybody does, like same as myself. I guess eventually I just thought, I'll take one step at a time. Like I wouldn't think too far into the future with learning how to code. I'll take it baby steps. So I had a look at online resources and also tutorials as well to get a brief idea of what it's like to learn web development. And also before I start, I have read a lot of motivational and inspiring stories from others, especially self-taught developers. One of them, I think, was from Danny from Twitter, Danny Thompson. Yeah, he is one of the guy who worked at gas station, and then he self-taught. He was a self-taught developer, and yeah, he became a software engineer all by himself. And from that story, it was very inspirational. I just thought, anyone really can learn to code by themselves, like anyone. And coding really do change lives as well. So by reading these kind of stories, like especially at the beginning, I did have a doubt about, whether I'm too old to learn how to code as well. But after reading like similar stories like this, and also meeting people on Twitter as well, I began to develop more confidence as I meet more people, obviously. So yeah, like people are learning coding at different sort of age, different background, different, gender as well. So yes, it's something definitely that you need to explore a little bit more to overcome the fear and also the doubt of yourself.
You've just been exploring your tech passions and fashioning your programming journey, but you already have established a very strong presence online. Have you been treated differently as a woman in this space?
Yeah, so nowadays I'm pretty much just on Twitter. Ever since I've joined on Twitter back in May 2020, and I've participated in this challenge called 100 Days of Code. And to be honest, I don't feel that I've been treated differently just because I'm a woman. Like, I feel that everyone on that community is very, very friendly and very helpful, especially they know that I'm a new learner. And I whenever I ask for, help or advice, there are a lot of them out there who are keen to help, even though like sometimes it take quite a while to answer like certain questions. So also, with coding, etc., like there's a lot of support out there. So I definitely don't feel, I've been treated differently or anything like that. Everyone is very supportive and friendly, pretty much all the people that I've met so far. And I've met great people there. So
Right. So,
It's really
like
good to
working
know
as a
that you
friend,
had such like a positive experience of with like women in tech or like being a woman in tech.
working as a front-end web developer is an exceptionally creative job. And since you are working on the aspects of a website that a user can see and interact with, your code pen animation certainly speak to your imaginative brain. Where do you get your inspiration from?
yeah, so these days on CodePen, I mainly post like CSS art, and I've only just began to post them. I'll say I got some of the inspirations from animes. Like, I did one about anime and I'm working on another one that's based on another anime as well. So that's one of them. And also on Twitter, a lot of people post their work as well. And also on CodePen, I look at other people's works too. Some of them are really amazing out there. Like they definitely, let me realize how much you can do with CSS. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. Anime is really popular. Even I like anime. Okay.
That's good.
So, looking back to when you started coding to where you are right now, what advice or message would you like to give to the young girls out there just starting to code?
I would say give it a try. Like, sometimes you don't realize you're interested in something until you try it. Coding is something that, give you a lot of opportunities. So for example, like, you can start by learning how to code into web development. And after that, you can even branch out to mobile apps development, game development, etc., like that. So for girls that are at school, or young girls, there are a lot of opportunity out there if you do learn coding. And I do believe coding is there are a lot of exciting things in the future that probably utilize this skill. So it's definitely it will definitely come in handy. And also it provides a lot of different type of work options as well. So like, for example, you can go find a job or even work remotely from anywhere in the world. You can do freelancing, you can start your own business, etc., like that. So so my advice is probably just to give it a go. Like you never know, like once you started learning a little bit, you'll find out whether it's right for you and whether you want to pursue a bit further on that.
Okay, that was really great advice to try something new. And yeah, I think that's it for our podcast. So we ended in time. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Great. Thank you so
it was
much
really
for having
nice
me
talking
here.
to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.